What does the Florida defense do well?
Do a lot of things well. They fly around to the football. They're extremely well coached. They have a demeanor. You can tell that they have a mentality on the defense. They fly around. They do a lot of good things. They're athletic in the back end. They're disruptive up front. They probably move and pressure more than anything we've seen up to date. It's going to be a challenge, but I think our guys have started off on the right foot today, and yesterday were a great start. But we have to match that intensity and play to the standard at which we played at a few times throughout the Vanderbilt game more consistently.
That movement has just been an issue period for a while. So how do you address that? And is Eli still going to be the ones kind of calling things out? So
yeah. Eli will be making the calls, and that'll be consistent throughout. And block and movement is the hardest thing to do in college football. It's the hardest thing to do up front, unless you just run one scheme and just block it and block it and block it. So we don't do that. We're a little bit more diverse in the run game at times. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge, and you get so much practice time to practice it. That's why we call it Terrible Tuesday and Wicked Wednesday, because we're giving them as much crap that we can throw at them as we possibly can. Maybe even a little bit overload. And, it's frustrating on Tuesday. It's a little bit more frustrating on Wednesday. But we're hoping that at the end of this thing that you're getting better at blocking movement. So we're working at it. But, things happen fast.
Devin's first interception on Saturday, was that the wrong decision, or did he just need to get more on that throw?
At that point, I probably forced the shot in there, a little bit, and they covered it well, right? They matched it really well. There wasn't anybody open, and what I said to him was just, hey, at that point, just help me, a poor call, not a great situation. They matched it up pretty well. Hey, let's either throw that thing as a launch, out of bounds, or, hey, maybe can we step up, find a low lane, get back to the line of scrimmage, and let's play 2nd and 10. Not the best situation for them to be in, right? Because they matched it all up. But at that point, I just said, hey, I just need you right there to help me a little bit there. Take care of the football. Don't make a bad play worse.
Kind of going off that, Devin talked about how he wants to take the layups a little more.
Yeah.
How do you kind of strike that balance? Because he has hit on a bunch of explosive plays.
Yeah, and I think he would probably be the one to tell you that that's probably not even been his game in years past, right. Really. And that's not really, I guess, how we've probably designed the offense. We're not trying to constantly push the ball down the field. It just so happens that we have a little bit more this year. And I think the efficiency aspect of things, of just pitching, catching, keeping the ball in play, check downs, throwing it away, just doing some things that ultimately help take care of the football and give you a better chance on early downs to be a little bit more efficient. I think that's something we're all striving for, and I think he's frustrated because he keeps telling me, that this isn't who I've ever been, is somebody that's in, the completion percentage and things like that. He's always been maybe on the higher end and just peppering people with completion. So it's a fine line, but he's working at it.
Dane's first big wow moment was against Florida last year.
Mm-hmm.
He got back and kind of had one of those on Saturday. How do you think that helps his confidence before the competition cranks back up again?
Definitely. I think it started in practice last week. It started in practice last week with the amount of time that he and Devin spent. The receivers coaches, Coach Woody and Coach Verbois, working with the wideouts as much as they can with route detail, releases. We are going to get a ton of press this week. We're going to get a lot of hands-on, and this is going to be a huge challenge. But I do think it was nice to get some of those guys' confidence up, especially going into this, into this stretch here.
Obviously, every week's big, but this is a big week. How are you guys feeling?
Good. I think it started with the attitude on Monday in our team meeting. That Coach Stoops set the tone, and we came out, had a good Monday practice. I thought today was solid. There's some things we'll clean up, things we'll take out, and readjust. But I thought their tempo, their demeanor, the mentality out at practice today was for the most part the right one.
I know this is only your second SEC game, but from what you've seen so far, are defensive schemes and what people doing, is it
different from what you saw 2 years ago? Are you seeing many new things, or is it all pretty much the same?
No, you're starting to see, some more themes, I think, in terms of, what Georgia was kind of doing 2 years ago with some of the, simulated pressures and edge pressures and playing cover 2 behind those pressures, trying to take away free access with some simulated pressures. I think that is definitely been an upkick over the last year or so with some of the simulated pressures and the coverage structures that they're playing behind some of those sims. Vandy did a lot of it, but we didn't get too much of it on Saturday, but we prepared for it. Florida also has some of those similar structures, so you're seeing some of those same trends that started in 21 a little bit become a little bit more consistent.
Liam, with some of the holding problems, I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Is any of that, or how much of that might be Devin's ability to move around in the pocket, to scramble, to change direction? Suddenly, a guy holding a good block is just plain holding.
Yeah, he did a great job, against Akron, breaking contain and getting out of the pocket and throwing a touchdown. And we got a hold when we had 3 guys blocking 1 person. So, I think that's been a huge point of emphasis, though, since Saturday of our offense. Has been our Monday meeting with these players was every single position group just footwork. It all starts with your footwork, your technique, bending your knees, coming to a balance, hands inside. That's all over the tape, is this. And it's not just the O-line. It's at multiple different positions, but it starts in practice. It starts with how you practice and making a conscious effort, which I thought they did Monday, a little bit loose today. And we had the refs out here being strict on those guys and letting them know, hey, man, that's a flag. That's a flag. And we want them to be able to give us some of that feedback. Marcus Cox came up to me at one point and was like, tell these guys to throw the flag, because it is a point of emphasis that we are trying to get better at as a whole unit.
Liam, what does Florida do well to slow down the run game? And is there anybody on their tape that kind of jumps out at you that you have to account for?
Their D-line, they've got a rotation of guys up front. They want to play a ton of players. So they try to keep those guys fresh. Number 88, who's a Louisville transfer, is a really good player. 94 stands out. On the second level, 6 is one of the better linebackers we'll probably face, all season. He's a complete player, all-around player. In the back end, they've got a couple of young freshmen that are playing really well. And then the cornerback, number 3, is a really good player, talented as heck. So Coach Sean Spencer, the D-line coach at Florida, coached me in college. And, I know what type of guy he is and how he gets those guys going. They're well coached. They do a great job using their hands at the point of attack and shedding blocks. So this week truly is all about demeanor, mentality, fundamentals, and technique. As much as we can. If we lunge and put our heads down, we are going to whiff. And we won't win too many of those battles. So this is a huge week about fundamentals and technique. And as Nick asked us before, blocking movement is going to be a huge thing.
Steve said yesterday he has confidence in the people of Kentucky to pound some beers and get ready for Saturday. So do you have confidence in the crowd that they're going to be amped up, pound some beers?
Yeah, 2 years ago, the Florida atmosphere was electric, right? That was one of the coolest games I've ever been a part of. To see Kroger rocking like that and the people, the catwalk, just the whole thing, the whole experience was electric, and fully anticipated being the same way. I know our players are excited. I know Florida will be ready to play, and I think hopefully it'll be a great SEC football game.
Did you watch the Rams last night? And is it hard watching the Rams now?
It's not hard. You feel for them. You want to help, and you see Matthew and those guys. But I watched the tape from the first 2 games and took some things. And how do you be able to take stuff that they're doing that still fits what we're doing? And I kind of felt for them a little bit with some of the penalties and going back, and then they had the touchdown called back, and some of the red zone issues as well. You just kind of feel for them. And hey, man, it happens at all levels. Football's football.
Liam, there's much talk about that right tackle position going
Yeah.
into the year. What have you seen from Jeremy? Has he exceeded your expectations at this point?
Definitely. I think competition brings out the best in a lot of people. And, he's doing a good job, you know, and I thought he had one of his better games, you know, as a Wildcat last week. Cortland's still doing a good job, you know. Just being able to rotate there just helps keep guys fresh, and I think a fresh flax is a good flax, and it gives us an opportunity to still rotate, keep guys healthy, keep guys fresh, and keep the best players on the field as much as we can.
Okay, folks, thank you very much.
Thank you,
We have
guys.